just like an old sort of like Soho story, you know. And Leo Green, the fantastic sax player, he came over and said, "What are you doing?"
I suppose it was because of the people I was around back then. I was sitting across the road, having a coffee. One of those old Soho moments. Leo Green, incredible sax player, walks up and says, "What are you doing?" At the time, Jeff Beck wasn't falling apart in public. He was collapsing quietly, behind closed doors. No headlines. No meltdowns on stage. Just sudden disappearances, broken connections, and doors closing without warning. People around him felt the tension long before they understood it. This wasn't a guitar god protecting his legacy. It was a man slowly dismantling every relationship he had left. Jeff Beck is remembered as one of the most revolutionary guitarists of all time. But behind the legend lived years of resentment, conflict, and unfinished wreckage. His talent was undeniable. Living with it was another story. While other rock stars built bands, partnerships, and long-term alliances, Beck did the opposite. He walked away from success, shut down projects at their peak, left collaborators blindsided, confused, and often bitter. Some saw him as fiercely principled. Others saw him as distant, dismissive, and impossible to trust. This isn't a tribute to his skill. It's an examination of why so many rockers eventually turned against him. When Jeff Beck replaced Eric Clapton in the Yardbirds, he didn't just take over a guitar role. He inherited a shadow. Clapton had already become respected, admired, almost untouchable. When he left over creative differences, Beck stepped into a position poisoned by comparison. Every note he played was judged. Every decision weighed. And Beck felt it. His response wasn't subtle. He played louder, sharper, more aggressive. His guitar sounded like defiance. Every riff felt like an argument. Every solo, a challenge. To some, it was thrilling. To others, it felt unstable, even hostile. The rivalry didn't need interviews or insults. It lived in clenched silence, tense rooms, and a constant need to prove he belonged. That pressure never left him. And it cracked something early. From that moment on, Jeff Beck wasn't just playing music. He was playing defense. His time with the Yardbirds unraveled fast. Missed rehearsals, missed shows, sudden vanishings. The band stopped relying on him. Management lost patience. Trust evaporated. He wasn't removed because he lacked talent. He was removed because he made stability impossible. After Beck exited, Jimmy Page stepped in. What followed wasn't just a career split. It was a verdict. Where Beck resisted structure, Page imposed it. Where Beck recoiled from leadership, Page embraced control. One drifted, led by instinct and volatility. The other built a machine. And the contrast was brutal. As Led Zeppelin exploded, Jeff Beck had to watch another former Yardbird achieve everything he couldn't, or wouldn't, sustain. Packed stadiums, shattered records, absolute authority. It wasn't about who was more talented. Both had that. It was about discipline, consistency, and the ability to build something that lasted. Jimmy Page could build. Jeff Beck could not. The rivalry never needed to be spoken. Everyone saw it. The Jeff Beck group should have been his turning point. With Rod Stewart on vocals, everything finally clicked. The songs landed. The press paid attention. Momentum was real. And then, Beck shut it down. Behind the scenes, control turned into obsession. Communication collapsed. Decisions were made without explanation. Frustration became hostility. Rod Stewart didn't leave quietly. He walked away angry, carrying the bitterness of something that had been strangled just as it started to live. Not long after, Stewart built a solo career that eclipsed anything Beck ever achieved commercially. From the outside, the industry started asking a hard question. Why would someone destroy their own breakthrough? Ron Wood learned the answer firsthand. What began as collaboration quickly became tension. Nothing was ever clearly stated, just enforced. Plans shifted without warning. Commitment offered no security. The uncertainty wasn't just musical. It was personal. When Wood finally left, the difference was immediate. With the Rolling Stones, he found structure, communication, belonging. To some, the move looked ambitious. To those who knew better, it looked like survival. Again and again, the pattern repeated. Musicians arrived hopeful, excited, then slowly realized they were standing on unstable ground. Praise was rare, direction unclear, mistakes weren't discussed. They were punished. Jeff Beck didn't argue. He didn't confront. He erased. People would show up believing they were part of something meaningful, only to be gone the next day. No explanation. No final conversation. Just silence. And that silence unsettled people more than anger ever could. Over time, Beck pulled away even further. Invitations unanswered. Collaborations stalled. Momentum abandoned. What made it so confusing was the contradiction. Here was a man who could pour raw emotion into every note. Anguish, rage, tenderness, vulnerability. Yet face to face, that access vanished. Conversations stayed distant. Bonds never fully formed. People were left wondering what they'd done wrong, or if they had ever mattered at all. The question followed him quietly. Why did Jeff Beck keep pushing everyone away? Fear of control, discomfort with closeness, an inability to compromise. Whatever the reason, the result never changed. Connection was the one thing he refused to sustain. Jeff Beck remains one of the most influential guitarists in rock history. His sound reshaped the instrument. His technique inspired generations. But influence doesn't erase damage. Behind the admiration is a quieter truth, spoken mostly by those who stood closest. To many rockers, Jeff Beck wasn't misunderstood. He was exhausting, brilliant, but distant, unpredictable, unwilling to meet anyone halfway. The music endured. The relationships didn't. And that gap, between timeless art and lasting emotional wreckage, is the shadow that still follows Jeff Beck's legacy. This has been JosBACK Stage Tales.